This is Ryan and Michelle, and welcome to the Celebrate MarriageCast, where we hope to restore and reclaim godly marriages through honest and real conversations.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 26. We're so glad that you're with us today.
Michelle, it's really been quite a week, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Actually, I wish I would have brought a blanket.
Why?
So I could take a nap in this room when we're done. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, that'd be a boring podcast, wouldn't it?
No, after. After the episode. Yeah. Like the blue lighting and quiet, super quiet
Very
in here.
Quiet. Right. Absolutely.
It's you guys, it's been a really exhausting week. We're just gonna share a little bit what's been going on, hoping that it can give you hope for whatever you're going through, that you're in the right spot. We're glad that you're listening, and we hope that this is hope-giving to you today. So here we are.
Absolutely.
We made it in. I'm actually really impressed that we did.
Yes, we made it.
We're here.
Yeah, absolutely. So when people get married, they exchange vows. Mm-hmm. Usually it kind of follows the lines of something like this: to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health. But the question really comes up: what do you do when it's for worse? Yeah,
I think we like to focus on the for better. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
For better, for worse, sure, I'll be there.
Yeah.
But for better, in richness.
Yeah, absolutely. But so when we look at the Bible, John 16:33 says, "In this world you will have trouble. But take heart, I have overcome the world."
I love that verse.
Yeah. You will have trouble.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. So this past week, we've had a family member going through some really, really tough things. And it's been a difficult week for us, and to kind of walk through a lot of different feelings, a lot of different emotions that we've had to go through.
Yeah. A lot of news learned for the first time, and potentially really, really tough prognosis, I guess. Is that a word? Prognosis?
Yeah.
Diagnosis? We'll know more next week, but
yeah.
I've been living up in the hospital ICU, pretty much living during the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot, all week.
Yeah.
I think I counted, I've had 28 different, was that right? 20 different valet people? That's how many times I've checked my car in and out.
Yeah, I think that's right.
A lot.
Yeah.
So we know that the promise that even in our times of trouble, we have comfort because God has it all. He has overcome the world. So throughout this difficult time, we just want to talk about the things that have jumped out at us, and how as a couple we have navigated that, and how maybe when things come up in your marriage, in your relationship, that you really can be there for your spouse. And Ryan, I would say too that this week has been crazy, but there have been so many moments of things happening that I just looked at you and I was like, wow, I'm so thankful for you, and just things that you've done that I want to share with our listeners so that they maybe have ideas for supporting their spouse too, and just how we have kind of navigated through it. So I think the first one is the importance of having a community like the local church.
Yeah. So
important. And we were really careful to share too much, because a lot of it we just don't know. We know some details, but there's no official results yet. There are some, but really a lot is going to come next week. But we let a small circle in, and to see people collecting gift cards for us. Right now, we've shared with you guys that I'm looking for a job. It's been a super long, difficult process, and shared last week that I realized I met with a resume coach, and she was like, your resume's not even getting through the automatic readers. Who knew that? Mine was so pretty. It was in 2 columns, and apparently when their computer reads across, it was jumbling. And she's like, I don't think a human is reviewing your resume, and you've had an amazing career and all this stuff. So we've shared I'm looking for a new job, and that means that I've been substitute teaching as time goes on with my part-time business kind of on the side, but my primary means of work is sub-teaching. So I've had to take that off. No work means no income. And so you have that, both the financial burden, the emotional burden, the news of what you're learning, just digesting it all, trying to support a family member, being a little bit of a caretaker. And that's a lot of stuff, but to let people in to some of what's going on. And, one of my dear close friends showed up at the lobby of the hospital, and her and I talk often. And sometimes I get it in my head that, it's lonely and we don't have people. And, just like Satan can kind of put these thoughts in you. And so she knows these insecurities that I have. And she showed up with this card, and I opened it, and there was like $400 of gift cards in there for a Visa gift card and Hy-Vee and Crisp and Green, which is a salad place in town. And she was like, these people all chipped in, this person and this person and this person and this person. And she's like, you have a community, like you have a tribe, and we're praying for you and we love you. And they, and she was kind of my communication liaison between some friends. And she just said, it was just giving them high level details, like Michelle's family members in the hospital, and, could really use prayers.
Yeah.
And she asked if she could share that. And I never in my wildest thoughts thought that it would result in, a gift. I was like, please, just prayers.
Yeah.
And so to have that, like, just show up, pastors from the church, it's been really incredible that wherever you're at, your church community probably has prayer pastors.
Yeah, right.
So right away that first day that family member was in the ICU, we had one of the prayer pastors on staff of our church showed up, said, how can I pray? I want to pray. They don't need to know details. God knows that, but they can still pray for your family member. And then Wednesday, another prayer person from the church showed up. People from my family members' life group showed up. I mean, just so much community that truly just wanted to pray for my family, our family,
Absolutely.
So just let those community people, let your local church be that community for you, and let them in to lift you up. And there's so much power in that.
So much. Yeah. Michelle,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, you're so right in that. And it's been just amazing to see the people that just show up, that show up to lift you up. Maybe it's an encouraging word or message or something like that, that just really reach out, and I think it's just been almost overwhelming. Like it's just been so cool, and it's so important. We've shared this on past episodes to realize, like, you're not alone when that worst comes.
I think that's a lie that Satan uses. Like, don't you think, Ryan?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that's
for
sure a lie, because it might feel like that, but is that the reality? And I think that's what I wrestle with, is that I'll go through these seasons and feel like, oh, like I'm alone, like these people aren't texting me back, but there are people.
Yeah.
And some of that is on us to let them in too.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's on you to let them in, I was going to ask you, Ryan, did you have examples of people that you feel like kind of showed up for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the life group conversation is super important. I had reached out to both the guys that are in our life group and shared with them, and both responded with just really encouraging messages.
That's awesome.
Which is just amazing, and just having those people that you encounter every day just lift you up. I think at work I've gotten a lot of encouragement and a lot of just, hey, like, it's okay. Take care of what you need to take care of, that's priority. And that's just, it's so important.
I think it kind of makes you realize the good in people too.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
There is a lot of good in the world. And sometimes it's in those valley moments where you see that. And I guess that's kind of one of the next things I want to talk about. But
yeah. One of the other things just that I wanted to share, and obviously we're a marriage and family podcast here, is that I think as a spouse, it's super important to just draw close during this time.
Yeah.
Draw close as a spouse. Genesis 2:18 says that it's not good for man to be alone. I'll make a helper suitable for him. And I think as a spouse, you can really be a helper for your spouse in time of need, to come along and see the needs that are there and just step into that.
Yeah.
That's something that I've tried really hard to do this week, of just stepping in when I see there's a need to support you.
Yeah.
When that worst comes, to remember that we're a team, and I can fill in where those gaps are.
Yeah. One of the things, Ryan, you've just been so incredible this week, and my wirings. We talked about this last week with the gift cards, like how God has made us all uniquely, but wonderfully just unique and beautiful and perfect. But we're just all wired different. And Ryan knows that if I'm going to call someone and try to update them on the situation, they're going to get all the facts, but also all the feelings, all the details, and all the emotions. And it's probably going to be really draining and exhausting for me, because I share with my heart, and it is a little bit of an emotional outpouring. So for me to even let a few people know is really exhausting. So to have, my best friend Sarah communicating with some people, and to have Ryan, oh my goodness, you have just been so incredible this week. And I started tearing up when you were saying this point, because I am just thinking of every single example of that, and just the patience, the grace. There's one day, it was Monday night, that we'd already said goodnight, and then I got up and I just broke down crying, and you just were so tender. It was so late. You were so exhausted, but you just listened.
Yeah.
And you just listened, gave me a hug and a kiss, and just were like, I know, love. But just having that space to allow me to be real and authentic and process those emotions, and being there. We've taken a lot of walks this week, and just processing it out as well. And then something that I think is really, tactical that a spouse could do, and would be really, I don't want to say easy, but would be a really doable thing for the spouse to offer, is being that point of communication. So as I talked about how for me to even have a phone tree to talk to people, it would just be so exhausting to try to update all of this family members, other relatives, and all these things. It would wipe me out. And I already feel like I'm getting run down this week, and I've just been keeping my head above water. But Ryan was like, give me a list. Tell me the bullet points. What are they comfortable with being shared? Give me a list. I'll call them all. I'll text them all, whatever. So you have probably had a dozen plus conversations with relatives, distant relatives, coworker, friends, people, in various levels of things being shared. But so amazing, because you guys, you know how it is. Like, it's not as simple as just texting people and saying, hey, just FYI, here's what's going on. You know how it is. Like, bless their hearts, they care. So they're going to write back and say, oh my gosh, well, when did this start? What happened? What did you find out? And all of that is great, but it also can be really overwhelming to have, even a dozen people now all texting, ping, ping, ping. Actually, my phone's never on sound, but, just to get those metaphorical pings all day long. And then to respond when I'm trying to be there, present and attentive to the family member. And it just was too much.
Yeah.
And you saw that right off the bat, and you were like, give me a list. I will do this. And you've even been communicating with like some of my friends and, my family. And I don't think anyone's thought, well, that's weird. Why is the husband calling when, why isn't Michelle? But everyone's understood.
Yeah, Absolutely.
And they've respected that, and they've, kind of communicated back through you. And I've seen, you've spent every lunch break on that, and you've spent after work, and you're doing that, but you know how I'm wired, and you know that that's a way that you can kind of lift up my wings and come up, and just lift me up and support me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Having a crock pot full of food, so when I get home at 8:00 at night, I can have dinner. And
I love crock pots.
I know it's not ideal to eat
I know.
Tostadas, tacos, and all that at 8:00 at night.
Right.
But it's like survival mode.
Yeah.
Food's a struggle. Every day it's like, what's for dinner? But to have you take care of that has been huge.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
You've done just so much.
Thanks, love.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's just a great reminder for spouses, Ryan, that just being gentle and patient and listening and offering, hey, what can I do? Can I do this extra thing? Can I maybe it is taking care of some crockpot meals for the week, or just being gentle.
Yeah.
I think you're really good at that. You're so strong, but you're also really gentle.
Yeah.
So
I think the other thing is I think it's important to ask. I think it's almost as well just do it.
Sure.
Yeah. When the question about the phone thing came up, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll just do it.
Yeah. Because some people might not even know what they need. So maybe that would be would be a good example, offering to be the liaison person, offering with food, extra household chores. We split things, but picking up the slack for things that I'm not able to even mentally just do, just over capacity.
Yeah. But I think that in particular came up.
The phone calls.
Yeah, in conversation about how are we going to let this person know? And I'll do it.
Yeah.
Let me do it.
Yeah. Ryan, I think the other thing, so we talked about, really knowing that in this world you will have trouble. Take heart, I've overcome the world. That was John 16:33. So we talked about the importance of community, finding a local church community. We talked about being just patient and gentle and empathetic and caring with your spouse. The third thing we want to talk about as we came up with this list is looking for the blessings in the day-to-day. So I think that when you are going through these for poor situations, that it is easy to only see that in that valley, but God's presence is everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's easy to miss if you're not looking for it.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really easy to miss if you're not opening your eyes and looking for his presence, but he is everywhere. Whether that's something that might seem like a coincidence. So for example, I have a few examples of this, but my friend was in the hotel lobby oh my gosh, I am delusional with my words.
It's okay.
You know what? I lost my hospital sticker probably at Crispin Green. I think it fell off me, and then I got to the hospital and didn't have it.
Yeah.
And then I lost my phone. It fell out of my pocket, and I was trying to talk to valet to get my phone, and it wasn't there. It was one of those moments where I was it was so embarrassing and so frustrating, because I was I think I'm losing my mind. And I also realized that other people probably think the same. And I was trying to explain about my phone and why I thought it was in my car, but then it wasn't. And then the sweet lady from information came from Lost and Found. I was is this your phone? I was oh my gosh, yes. And I was just checking in and checking out of the hospital, trying to go in and out and figure out where my phone was. So every time you come or go, you have to check in and out. So I just was going around this circle. Anyways, all that to say, I was just really weary. And anyways, so I'm jumbling my words, but back to my story.
Yeah.
I was in the hospital lobby and I was coming down, and my friend Sarah was oh, don't come down yet. There's someone that we know and somebody that we both mutually know. And I don't know if you want them to know. So just wait until you come down. So I came down. I was oh, who was it? She's like, oh, so-and-so. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, she's just like the sweetest person. Like you could have told her. It would have been fine. This lady, her husband's a doctor. She was a doctor. She's not practicing. She's, at home, but with her kids. But they're in the medical field and she was at the hospital. And anyways, my friend Sarah was like, well, I hadn't even seen her for like 8 months. I was such a surprise to see her. I was like, okay, you could have told her. So Sarah's organizing this gift card drive along with my cousin. And so Sarah shows up the next day to deliver all these things. And she was kind of telling me the people that chipped in for the gift cards. And she was like, oh, and guess what? This is crazy. I was at Caribou Coffee earlier today meeting with so-and-so. And I saw that person from the previous day. She's like, I saw her again. And I haven't seen her for 8 months. And then I see her 2 days in a row. And since you said I could tell her, I went ahead and told her. And she contributed, a lot to this whole gift card project. And I just so overwhelmed with the goodness of God and like using his people to show his love.
Yeah.
And I just thought, gosh, that's not a coincidence. That was a total God thing. Right. And she was obedient to the prompting put on her and she was able to bless us and just this cool thing. But so that was example one. But the other example is, this kind of ties into being part of a local church too. But I said that I've done valet a lot, right? So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I think I've done it 8 times. So I've had 16 different valet people, drop off, pick up. So quite a few. Well, the first 3 nights, the person that retrieved my car at the end of these super long days was the same person. And his name was Chad. And you were like, Michelle, I think he's on the prayer team. I was like, really? I didn't realize that because I think he must be at the later service. And I was like, wow, okay, that's crazy. So the third time that he's getting my car rolls around, and of course he's not going to ask and say, so why are you here? They're just professional and they wouldn't ask that. Yeah. But, I just said, hey, Chad, will you pray for this family member? There's just some stuff going on. And, we're waiting for Tess. And he says, what's their name? And I tell him the name of this family member. And you know what he told me? It's like, I already prayed for them today.
Wow.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Right? So when this family member checked in and the association was made, because they can say, if there's a church home, the prayer pastors call the hospitals every day and get a list.
Yeah.
And then they have a whole team of people praying for that person. And I just was like, oh my gosh, my eyes just filled up with tears to know like, wow, this person's already been prayed for today.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So incredible.
Yeah. And
what a God wink. Like, God, this is so hard, but in this moment, just putting people on our path that go to our church. I feel like we saw quite a few, and knowing that they're praying, they're really, really praying.
Yeah.
Especially when they were like, I already have.
Yeah.
It was so powerful. So I just think taking that time to look around and knowing that God, his blessings are everywhere, and let those be glimmers of hope in your circumstance that he's still working. And even though what you're going through might be incredibly tough, he still loves you. He still cares about you, and he is for you. And going back to that scripture, Jesus said, but take heart, I have overcome the world.
Yeah. Michelle, it's so good. I'm thinking of there's a new movie out, Kingdom Stories put out called Ordinary Angels.
Yeah.
And
it's good.
It's so good. And if you have not seen it, go see it. It's so good. But it's this idea of help might come in the form of something we're not expecting. And I think we've seen that this week.
Yeah.
Of help coming in the form of a valet person that has prayed for your family member repeatedly, prayed for your vehicle, for the person coming into those vehicles. Like, it could be a nurse who took extra time in the room to be not just a nurse, but to be a loving person.
Yeah.
Like there are these ordinary angels all over the place that God puts in our path.
Yeah.
And it's been so evident of that this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking there was one more. I was in the cafe line and I was like, oh, that's Brett from Celebrate in front of me. I at the moment, I felt like it was a mistake, but I was like, hey, and then he turned around and I was like, how are you? And I just tried to say, and I just lost it. And it was just really embarrassing. But you know what? It's okay because they care. And he was like, my life group's going to pray. We're going to pray, So I think it's just realizing those are all moments that God is working through people, and then I got up to the front of the line and the gal was like really concerned about me. She's like a teenager and she's like, are you okay? And I didn't hear what she said. And she's like, ma'am, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Just have a sick family member. But
right.
I don't know. I just think those gentle moments are really signs of God working in and through people and being, like you said, ordinary angels too. And they're everywhere.
Right. Absolutely.
If you're looking for it and receiving that. Yeah. So good, Ryan. Ryan, thanks for outlining the show too. You did a lot of work in just putting it together. It's just been quite the week, but I think there was something in the rawness and realness of the week that, for you guys listening, we didn't want to just pass on it either. One, we have a schedule we want to kind of, stick to, but really just using this, not using it, but just letting God work through it and just coming in and just having this real conversation of, our week has been tough, but we know you guys have been there too. We know that you guys are going through tough things and we want to encourage you. That's what this ministry is all about is, giving you hope and helping you to meet Jesus and be Jesus in your marriage and in your community and just having those real authentic conversations. That's what we say every week. So absolutely. Real and honest conversations. So anything else, Ryan?
No, I don't think so.
All right. You're an ordinary angel.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, you are. Thank you, listeners, for joining us today on the Celebrate MarriageCast, which I should add, Ryan, we have a lot of views and listens. Yeah. We was last week's did Adam say 6,000?
Yeah.
Over 6,000?
Over 6,000.
And subscribers on the Celebrate MarriageCast, Celebrate Marriage YouTube channel is like over 2,500?
Yeah, I think so.
So thank you to our listeners. And would you just help us out? Would you subscribe? Would you give us a review? Would you call in to I'm going to share a phone number in a little bit that you can call in and leave a message. Nobody answers. You can just call and leave a message or you can text into that number. But that's really huge for the algorithms. The not almighty algorithms, whatever, but the algorithms are a key factor. And we want more people to be able to see this and benefit from it. So subscribe, like this episode, leave a review would be huge. And you can leave us a message at the Celebrate MarriageCast voicemail. Nobody will answer. It's just a voicemail. It's 605-951-0110. Or you can text that number. Let us know your takeaway from this show, your feedback, how it's working in your life. So the Celebrate MarriageCast text line is that same number, 605-951-0110. As always, if you need additional help or marriage resources, please visit our website, celebrate.church/marriage. And we will see you this 5-Minute Friday. We're talking about saying a nice thing. Sounds simple, and we hope that it is very practical for you as well. So in the meantime, have a great week.